Good morning everyone, I am Christian Canello. I am here to demonstrate the procedure on making loaf bread. Before I start, make sure that your hands are washed and sanitized. Wear your hairnet, clean uniform, safety shoes, and mouth mask. Let us start. First step of making loaf bread is scaling ingredients. Make sure that you weigh accurately all the ingredients to prevent bread faults. Here are the ingredients. 1 kilo flour, 20 grams instant dry yeast, 15 grams salt, 30 grams milk powder, 80 grams shortening, 100 grams white sugar, 500 milliliter water. The second step is mixing. Usually all bakers use a straight dough method procedure, which combining all ingredients together in a bowl and mix. We are using a vertical mixer. Using dough arm attachment, we need to mix this one on 3 minutes and a slow speed. First speed. The first part of this mixing is to combine all ingredients and distribute yeast to evenly throughout the dough. While mixing, you can put now vegetable shortening and vegetable lard to the mold. Now we proceed to the second speed of the mixing, which is 5 minutes. The last part of the mixing is to develop gluten of the dough. and 8-minute mixing. And now we proceed to the next step, which is fermentation. Fermentation is the process by which yeast acts on the sugar and starch in the dough to produce carbon dioxide gas. Now, we need only to cover this one and make it double the volume and let the temperature of the dough rise to 27 degrees Celsius and the fermentation is done. Now we put cover. After 10 to 15 minutes of fermentation, now we can proceed to the next step, which is punching. Punching is a method of deflating the dough that expels carbon dioxide, redistributes the yeast for further growth, and relaxes the gluten. And now we proceed to the next step, which is scaling. Scaling, in this step, you need to divide the dough into pieces of uniform weight. In this pan, approximately 400 grams of dough. Now we proceed to the next step, which is rounding. This procedure forms a kind of skin by strengthening the gluten on the outside of the dough into a smooth layer. It also helps retain gases produced by the yeast. The next step is resting, wherein rounded portion of dough are allowed to rest for 10 to 15 minutes. This relaxes the gluten to make shaping the dough easier. After 15 minutes of resting, we proceed to the next step, which is make-up and panning. The dough are shaped into loaves, placed in pan. The seam must be centered at the bottom to avoid splitting during baking. After make-up and panning, we proceed to the next step, which is proofing. It is a continuation of the process of yeast fermentation, which increases the volume of the shaved dough. If a proof back is not available, you can come as close to this condition. So you can cover the dough to retain moisture and set it in a warm place. After 1 hour of proofing, the next step is baking. Set the oven temperature around 200 to 220 degrees Celsius and bake it around 30 to 35 minutes. Baking, our loaf bread is already finished. A golden brown crust color is the normal indication of doneness. The next step is cooling. After baking, the loaf bread must be removed from pan and cooled rapidly on tray to allow the escape of excess moisture created during fermentation. The last step is storing. Bread to be served within 8 hours may be left on tray, but for longer storing, we can now wrap the cold bread. And finally, this is our loaf bread finished product. Thank you very much and have a nice day ahead.